Welcome to the new sound of online radio. Welcome to the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network. 'Cause you make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven. A mix of today's hits and hard-to-find favorites, combined with the most entertaining and intriguing talk anywhere. This is your sound. This is the sound of Universal Broadcasting Network at upnradio.com.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm your host, Wendi Cooper, and it's time to sit back, let go, and start living unfiltered. Stadium applause as always. Thank you, Kurt.
No problem.
Well, here we are. It's Living Unfiltered. It's another Tuesday. Tuesdays are so special, Kurt, aren't they?
They are.
It's the only time that Kurt actually gets to talk on the the show.
I use it while I can.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
That's a new one, Kurt. Okay, so welcome to Living Unfiltered. This is the place where we kind of just talk about everything and anything. I am your host, Wendi Cooper, and for you, those of you that don't know me and are tuning in for the first time, I'm actually a marketing expert, a television commercial producer, writer, and I got tired kind of doing, I just to fill you in who I am. I kind of got tired of doing this show called the C-Spot, which is all about product and marketing and blah, blah, blah. And I decided to do the show called Living Unfiltered. And it's all just about anything we want to talk about. So it's non-topical. Stop it. Stop it. Okay. So Kurt, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm very good, Kurt. I'm very good. Kurt's holding onto the microphone like this. I'm good. How are you doing? Don't yell at me, please. Don't yell at me. Don't put me in the closet. I swear I'll be good.
I very so rarely use the mic, so
you don't have to hold it like that.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
That's hysterical if people can see you. So we have a really exciting show tonight.
Yes, we do.
Right? And I've already had 2 glasses of wine. Full disclosure, I always disclose everything. 2 glasses of wine, 1 espresso, a pizza with some ham, and what'd they call it? What'd they call the ham? What'd they call that ham?
Pancetta.
You know,
Pancetta,
Jesus,
pancetta.
Mark. All right. So anyway, you never say pancetta. Not in my house. Pancetta. Anyway.
With her sister Conchetta. And the great Antetta.
We are going to have some fun tonight.
Yeah, it's looking that way.
We are. All right. So we're going to skip all of the to-do. We're going to mute Mark's mic. We're going to bring Rocky's mic up. Not literally, Kurt. I'm joking. But Rocky is going to introduce my guest tonight, Mark Anthony, who is like the most amazing human being I have ever met. So I'm going to toss this over to Rocky, who is Mark's producer and business manager. And I think it's just a kick-ass kind of gal.
Thanks, Wendi. Thanks so very much. Mark Anthony is known as the psychic lawyer. He is Oxford educated, licensed to practice law in the state of Florida, Washington, D.C., and before the United States Supreme Court. Mark studied mediumship to develop his gifts at Arthur Findlay College of Psychic Science in England.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, He is. And his latest book, Evidence of Eternity, is a groundbreaking and is a hit on Amazon in 3 major categories and has been endorsed by the 3 top near-death experience experts in the world. Mark is going to be here in Venice.
Mark Anthony is going to be at the Mystic Bookstore.
That's right. It's a
Mystic Journey, right?
Mystic Journey Bookstore, 1624 Abbot Kinney Boulevard. And that's on Thursday and Friday, June 25th and 26th at 7. So come on out.
Better, actually, Rocky, that's better. I don't have my headphones on. That's actually better known as the hipster lane or whatever. What do they call Abbot Kinney? It's like Abbot Kinney is like the cool. Do you know this about Abbot Kinney, right?
I've heard.
Yes.
Yeah, it is like the freaking coolest used to be homeless lane.
So am I on?
In the world. Yes, you are on. And welcome. Let's hear the applause. Mark Anthony, everybody.
I've been saving this as a surprise. I didn't even tell Rocky this. Last week, I received an email from Columbia University, and apparently Evidence of Eternity has been submitted for a Pulitzer Prize. and I was saving that for your show, Wendy. Let's get a close up
That
of
is
Wendy.
so freaking awesome. I'm taking a drink of water. Mark, that's awesome.
Well, when I got it, I was like, okay, is this for real? So I called Columbia University and I talked to the Pulitzer Prize office, and they said yes. I go, who submitted it? And they said, well, that we can't disclose, but Evidence of Eternity has met the criteria and has been submitted for consideration for Pulitzer Prize.
Oh my God! So now, what's the process? Fill me in. What is that process?
They told me that I'll be receiving notification by April of 2016 if it makes the short list. So apparently there's a lengthy process that they go through, and this is such an honor. I'm very, very humbled by it.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, and I did want to tell Rocky because I
Holy
wanted to get her
shit.
reaction.
Sorry, everybody, but holy freaking shit!
Yeah, and I wanted to save it for your show, Wendy, because you're a friend and you're so much fun to work with. Plus, we were here in, I believe it was April, last time I was touring LA, and I'm happy to be back in LA.
Was it April? I think it was May, and it was funny because
was it May? Okay,
I think so, and it was funny because you didn't know. Just to give a little backstory, because we already have callers calling, right? Because we do know that we are having free psychic readings tonight with Mark Anthony on the show, but we do have to catch up a little bit before we take. And the callers are first come, first serve. So if anybody that is calling in either gets I don't even know. What do you get, Kurt? What do you get if you call in and you're not the caller that gets in?
You'll go to voicemail. So
you go to
just try
voicemail.
again.
So just hang up and keep trying because we will take one caller at a time, right, Mark?
right. And I want to say a couple things first about readings. I'm not a fortune teller.
That's right.
So when people call up, please don't call up about love life, career, those type of readings. What I do is I'm a psychic medium, which means I communicate with spirits of loved ones. So when you call in, I will make a connection, or I will do my very best to make a connection with one of your loved ones on the other side. And I try to limit it to one spirit per person, because sometimes people call up and they're like, all right, is my Aunt Martha there? Is Cousin Bob? Is Aunt Carlotta? And so on and so forth. Because I want to try to get to as many people as possible tonight. Because this show, this show, Wendy, as you know, is about helping people, and we do it in an upbeat and positive manner. So I do want to get to as many folks as possible. And please also understand that a lot of things that come through during a reading may not immediately make sense to people.
Yes, I can attest to that.
Right. In fact, it was really great. Wendy came out to Mystic Journey Bookstore when I was conducting an event, and I had only conversed with her on email. I didn't know what she looked like,
right.
And she actually ended up being one of the people in the audience that I called on and did a reading for.
That's right.
And then when I was on your show, I think it was a couple days later.
The next morning.
Oh,
you
was
were on
it
my
the,
show
was
the
it the next morning?
Yeah.
And then you indicated that after the reading, there was a whole lot of things that really started to make sense that people had, have to think about.
And since then, Kurt's given me this Hawaiian thing. He goes like this. He goes, that means there's a call. So we're getting a lot of calls. Mark, first let's talk for 1 second. You're on a book tour for your Evidence of Eternity book, which I've read and I love. And you're here in Los Angeles. And your book is blowing up everywhere, right? Isn't it?
It is a major spiritual reincarnation, astral projection, new age, and religious bestseller. It takes an interfaith approach. And the thing about Evidence of Eternity, it's unlike anything any other medium has out there, because it combines science, theoretical physics, human physiology, evidence, and theology to make a case for the afterlife. Plus, what I'm doing is basing my beliefs and my theories on science and introducing new terminology. In other words, the type of connections that I do, traditionally they've been called mediumship. I refer to it as interdimensional communication, because we're in the material world dimension, we have physical bodies, and we're communicating with a purely energetic environment and another dimension. And this ties in with string theory. Over the past century, the realm of theoretical physics has put forth that there is not just a universe, but there's multiverses, and what we call heaven, the other side, nirvana, however you would like to refer to it, is another dimension. So that's why it's interdimensional communication.
Can I give an example
Please.
for everybody? And I hope everyone is watching on UBN radio online, because then you're watching the video. I have an example. I learned from you when I met you, and I learned that when my mother passed away, my sister has always been convinced that when she sees a hummingbird, that's my mother. Yeah. And then you had said that it's the energy of my mother that's on the other side that is telling us to look when the hummingbird is present. Okay, so I was at lunch after that, right? And I'm at lunch down in Orange County with my sister, and I'm telling my sister this, and she really gets it, right? I hadn't been to my mother's grave for a while, and I go, well, I think I'll go see Mom, right? And I leave my sister. She doesn't know. I go to see my mom. I park on the hilltop, and I get out of my car, and I walk about 10 feet, and the hummingbird meets me.
Oh, my goodness.
It gets better. A hummingbird meets me and kind of follows me over to where I'm with my mother. And then my mom has like a nice little plot where we'll all get buried someday, right? So it's inside a gate. And my brother had put down this AstroTurf, which was awesome because now I get to lay on the grass, right? So I'm laying on the grass next to my mom, and I don't know why I'm just freaking laying there behind the gate, and I'm kind of looking at the clouds. And Kurt, you're gonna pull up this hummingbird picture in the clouds, and I'm taking like slow-mos of the clouds. I don't know why. I got my iPhone and I'm doing all these pictures, and I'm taking pictures of the clouds. All right. A couple of weeks later, I'm playing around with this app on my iPhone, and I take some of those pictures that I took that day. And Kurt, you have that up? Do you have that up?
Yes, I do.
You can't see it. Can you show it? I think I sent this to you. What do you see there in those clouds?
Hold on, I can't really see that just yet. Let me see. Hold on. Let me go off camera for a sec.
Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see the hummingbird? How can you not see that, Mark? My sister, my brother, everyone sees that. The dark belly, the wings that come out. Do you see it, Rocky?
Oh, yes.
Do you see that?
It's like a 3/4 shot. Okay, yes. I see what you're talking about. That's interesting.
Yeah,
well,
that was at my mother's grave.
And that's the phenomenon that I describe in the chapter entitled Frequency Beacons, because how I describe this is, think of everyone that you love, either on this side and on the other side, being interconnected through a three-dimensional spider web. And spider webs work on vibration. So if something hits a spider web, it sends a vibration so the spider is aware that there's something in the web. Right. Well, that's how this works. So, for example, your mother has not become a hummingbird, but spirits can emit frequency to, I don't want to call them lower forms of life, but different forms of life. And they can also emit a frequency to us to draw our attention to something. Right. Because I'll do readings for people, and they say that they find a certain object, or whenever they look at a hummingbird or something else, they immediately think of their mom or whoever it is that has passed. And that's what's going on. And I go into it in great detail in Evidence of Eternity. Yeah. And the fact, Wendy, I'm so glad you brought that up, because I hear this all the time. And when I was on the Never Letting Go book tour, that was my first book, people kept talking to me about this phenomenon, plus I kept seeing it in all my readings, so I started doing research and observations on it, and then it dawned on me, this is what's going on. And it's like when you're driving your car and you're thinking about your loved one, and suddenly you feel compelled to turn on the radio, and there's that song. Yeah. There's that song that makes you think of that person. This is not a fluke.
It's not a coincidence.
Not at all.
Right. So, Kurt, when the next caller comes in, will you let me know? Because there's a caller. Yeah. Are you ready for callers? Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, hold on 1 second. Hi, caller. What's your name?
My name is Dina.
Hi, Dina. Welcome to the show. You're with Mark Anthony, psychic lawyer, and I'm going to let you guys connect from here.
Hi, Dina. How you doing?
Hi. Fine. How are you?
Good. What can I do for you?
I would just like to know, my daughter-in-law passed
Don't
2 years ago in
don't
February.
stop. All right. And here's the thing. First off, please accept my condolences. But secondly, for your benefit and for the benefit of the listeners, please don't start giving me facts such
Right.
as that she passed in February 2 years ago, because those are things that could have come up. Okay, so
Oh, okay.
I'm going to open up, and a spirit or spirits may come forward. Now, this may or may not be your daughter-in-law. It could be somebody else who's connected to you. And the way I've explained that over dinner, we were talking about this. I'm not a bouncer. Okay, so I can't say, oh no, you, not you. And also, there's a lot of noise
Yes.
in the background. Could you either mute your speakers or turn off whatever
I was
the noise?
trying to turn it down, and I went up, I think, instead. But I've got it now.
Okay, perfect. Perfect.
All right, there is a female energy coming through, and what I'm getting with her is there's a lot of coughing, a lot of irritation that I'm feeling in my chest, and I'm also feeling internal bleeding and blood. I'm getting a dizzy and disoriented sensation prior to passing, and I'm getting this pain and sensation in my head, particularly above my right eye. And so the other thing, she knew that she was passing. This was not a surprise to her. Certainly was a tragedy, but she knew that this was coming on. Does this make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. Now, I know you're talking about February, but now I'm smelling pine trees, pine. So there's something about Christmas tree. Okay, so that makes sense to you. Hold on, and this is funny. I know you just said Christmas tree. She says you're sort of like the Christmas master. Like when Christmas comes, you sort of have to be in control of how everything's going to be about Christmas.
Yes.
She liked that, but it was sort of a double-edged sword. Look, here's the term she used. She calls you the Christmas Nazi, but she says it in a very loving way, and everyone used to make jokes about that because while on one hand you were sort of dictatorial about how Christmas is going to happen, on the other hand, you made memorable and beautiful Christmases that everybody loves. Okay, and she wants you to know that you made her feel very special, and there was a lot of times when she was unsure of her relationship and felt like an outsider, but you always made her feel included, and she wants you to know that. She wants you to know that. Interesting. She's talking about tetanus. Now, I don't know if somebody close to you or to her had to get a tetanus booster or somebody stepped on a nail, but I'm getting this whole tetanus, stepping on a nail, something like that. Does this make sense to you in any way?
No.
Get off the no train, because I want you to think about that because this – what about with your son? What about your son? I'm getting this whole thing, something about his foot, his feet, and I'm getting this stepping on a nail thing.
I don't know.
Okay. I want you to think about that because this is very, very significant. Now, a lot of times I get a significant amount of medical information. This could also mean that maybe your son needs a tetanus booster in order to head off a problem if he does cut his foot, because I'm getting this foot. I keep seeing a foot stepping on a nail and getting injured. I don't want to belabor that point. Interesting. I'm seeing Paisley pattern. Does a Paisley pattern make sense to you in any way?
No.
No train. I think we're on the no train.
Yeah. All right. Well, it could also be a name like Paisley as well. So anyway, I'm going to leave that with you, and I really appreciate you calling.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. God bless.
Thank you. So okay, there's a few things. We have another caller, and we'll get them on the line in 1 second. Okay. There's a few things that we want to remind everybody about when you're calling in is that you have to be open. Don't state who you want to connect with. Correct?
Right.
When they passed or anything about them, because that message will come through, and then one will be able to tell that they're really connected with that person.
And it's important not to get on the no train, like you said, because some people no. And you set up a negative energy barrier. It's better to say, I'm not sure at this time. Let me think about it, because energetically that leaves the door open. Because when I get something like Paisley, it may not actually be a Paisley pattern. Right. It could be somebody with a name like that or something of that nature. And whatever was going on with the nail and the tetanus, that was coming coming through loud and clear. So and sometimes spirits will project to me things not necessarily from the past, but things which will come to pass. Right. So it's something to be aware of.
With me, I know when I was at the Mystic Journey and you didn't know I was who I was, it actually was someone who I thought it was, but then it turned out to be somebody completely different with the same name. And I only knew that by what came through and what they said. And you said something so amazing because you said something about tinsel on a Christmas tree, right? And I was like, there's only one person in my life that ever was obsessed with tinsel on a Christmas tree, and it was my friend Karen. And it was a Karen that came through. So I knew it had to be her. I mean, how would you know anything like that?
And it was that old-timey type tinsel. I remember that reading because, it's funny because Christmas decorations kind of go through phases. So I do remember that.
But it was tinsel one by one, hanging that tinsel on the tree. So, Kurt, do we have another caller? We do. All right. So, are they on the line?
They are.
Hello, caller. Are you there?
Yes.
What is your name, please?
Hannah.
Hannah?
Tana with a T.
Oh, Tana with a T. Okay, Tana, you are on the line. Welcome with Mark Anthony.
Hi, Tana. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Now, do you want me to see who's around you spiritually?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm picking up on an older gentleman, and what I'm getting with him is it looks like he still had some hair, but he was getting that male pattern baldness where he was getting bald on the top of his head, and I'm also getting a lot of nausea with him. Now, the nausea can indicate that he wasn't eating prior to passing or was having, excuse me, issues with his stomach. Nausea is also one of my cancer indicators as well. I'm also tasting a lot of salt, so this could indicate high blood pressure and or water retention. And I'm getting this bloated sensation in his abdominal region. I'm also getting numbness and tingling in my feet and my fingers. So this is indicating that he was having peripheral neuropathy. He was having some nerve issues, and even though he was recognizing everybody around him, he was having a really difficult time with his mental functioning prior to passing. And what I'm getting, Tana, is that he was so ill and so physically miserable, he was actually looking forward to passing. The other thing I get about him is very, very outdoorsy, certainly before he got ill. I see him a lot outside, a lot with trees and leaves and like these metal cans, like almost look like a waste paper basket. I mean, not a waste paper, but a waste basket, a lot of metal. But he was definitely an outdoorsy type, and then this illness came on and took him down a click at a time. Does this make sense to you?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit in what way?
Well, my grandfather had cancer, and the tingling in the feet, he told me that it was difficult for him to walk in the end. And he was not able to recognize a lot of, wasn't able to speak on the phone or, in the end.
Sounds like a little bit more than a little bit. Okay. Now, was he a real outdoorsy type, like doing yard work, raking leaves, that type of thing?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's what I'm seeing. Like when I talk about the metal cans, I'm talking about like garbage cans, raking up leaves, putting leaves in there, and he keeps talking about you and the merry-go-round. Now I know that all little girls, all little kids, their grandpa always wants to take them to the merry-go-round, but there's something about a merry-go-round or a carousel that he's bringing up with you. And this is also an indication, because I'm tasting gingerbread and cinnamon and all those autumn-y type flavors. I'm getting something like middle of September through the middle of October. That seems to be a significant time frame connected with you or connected with him or someone close to you in some way.
He got married in September with my grandmother.
That would be a yes.
I love when you do that. That would be a yes.
That would be a yes. Okay. And it's funny because I hear starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight, wish I may, wish I might, wish upon a star tonight. And he wants you to know that don't ever let anyone diminish your dreams, because he's telling me that when you dream, you feel just a little bit brighter. And he always wanted you to pursue your dreams. He still does.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Do you write notes and things using red ink by any chance, or use red pens a lot?
No.
Oh,
Sometimes,
Go ahead.
sometimes pink pens, but
Oh, there
No,
we
not
go.
really.
That's
Let me
a version
see.
of red.
Pink, red.
It's
Okay.
close. It's close enough.
It's close enough. That's what I call bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
Okay. See, because I just don't pull out random ink colors. And I'm not being facetious when I say that. But you see, this is something I don't know about you, but your grandfather does. And the way I'm seeing it is I'm seeing a piece of yellow paper with what looks to me like red ink, but you use pink ink occasionally. So this is something that he's bringing up. Okay. Now, he is focusing my attention. I'm seeing tulips and Easter lilies, and I know that Easter is a big deal for most people. However, this is a time frame sometime in mid-March through mid-April. There appears to be a significant event connected with you, connected with him in that time frame.
no, I don't know. My grandmother's birthday was in March. but
That
is
would
in
be
March.
a yes. Okay. All right. And your grandmother, is she on the other side?
No, she's still here.
Okay. Hold on. Is she having some stomach or digestive discomfort?
Yes, she did today, actually.
Yes, she did today. Okay, so he is acknowledging that. This is your grandfather's way of letting you and his beloved wife know that he is around, and
my
he wants her to
goodness.
know that she's just as pretty today as the day that he met her, and she will always be his shining star. And there's that reference to stars again. And when he talks about you and when he talks about her, he says that the two of you you put the twinkle in the stars.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, that's awesome, huh? Isn't that awesome?
There's so much love being projected by him. It's funny because now, is there somebody connected to you or your grandmother or him with a name like Alice, Alicia, or Lisa? Because I keep hearing like Alice, Alicia. It's a name like that.
Is she gone?
She's gone.
Oh, all right.
Okay. All right. Well, think about that, and God bless
There we
you.
go. We're okay. We have more, so we're gonna cut it for a commercial for just a moment, and we'll be right back. And we're gonna whatever caller is on the line, you just stay right where you are. We'll be right back with Mark Anthony. This is Wendi Cooper at Living Unfiltered.
In an average lifetime, 1,500,000 minutes are spent on the toilet. So what's the problem?
When you sit on a toilet, you're at a 90-degree angle.
Nature didn't want us to do it that way.
This causes pushing, straining, hemorrhoids.
That's crazy.
We want to create a product that is great for humanity.
Well, go time just got easier. Introducing Easy Go Pro, the only way to go.
Anatomically, we were designed to eliminate at a 35-degree angle.
You just sit, lift, and go in a natural position.
The benefits list is this long from a pure health perspective.
A healthy colon is encouraged by doctors for all ages.
It's the key to vitality. It's the key to longevity. It's the key to your health.
Be a healthy goer. Order now at EasyGoPro.com. Try it for 70 days. If you don't absolutely feel better, just send it back for a full product refund. Go time just got healthier at EasyGoPro.com.
Okay, we're back. How do I look? Kurt? Do I look good?
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. All right, so we're back here. It's Living Unfiltered with Wendi Cooper and my guest, Mark Anthony, that is doing like all sorts of weird faces at me right now. Don't worry, we're not on you right this second. Anyway, we're here with Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, and we're taking live readings, and I'm assuming we've got some more people on the line. Okay, so here's the kind of because we are live. Okay, there's a few ground rules. The reading is going to be about 5 to 7 minutes so that we can have as many as possible. Mark will start to probably blab about something, so be open, have your energy open, be positive. If you get on the line with us, don't preface it with your name or the person that you want to connect with.
The caller's first name is fine.
Caller's first name. Okay, so your first name is great, but that's about it. Hi, I am just, this, and then Mark will take over from there, right?
Right. And also, not that I want you to say yes to everything. If you're not sure, say you're not sure.
Right. Don't say no.
Instead of shooting things down. I was doing a reading recently for somebody, and it was a mother and daughter, And the mother was on the no train. Everything was no, 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 no. And I said, I'm getting something about, I kept hearing the song, The Addams Family. And I said, something about Adams, and right around Halloween. No, 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 no. And the daughter was crying. And the daughter said, wait a second, Mom. I moved in with Adam on Halloween. And the mother's like, no, no, no. Oh, yeah, okay. And the thing is, well, people get overwhelmed. They get overwhelmed when this is happening. Also, I mean, most folks don't talk to the other side every day. And you have to listen to everything because it takes a period of afterthought and reflection to get the maximum benefit from a reading.
Yes,
because
that's
what
right.
happens, and we were talking about this on the break, Wendy's great because on the break she's like, okay, Mark, you get this. I mean, she's awesome, you know. And what happens is a spirit's pure consciousness, and when he or she starts communicating information to me, they establish a link, and then images come in, and it begins to grow and build. And sometimes it takes a little while as I develop a rapport with the spirit. And I love what I call the New York spirits because they're in your face. They want to tell you everything right away. And, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. And then there's the Midwestern spirits, and they come in and like, hi.
Yeah, they're slower because
Yep.
I was saying to you,
Right.
you know, this last one that you did before the break, it was you were like, ba 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 ba. You just kept going and going and going. You know,
Well, because
there was no breath in between.
But see, like every human, every spirit, because you know, spirits are people, they're just on an elevated level of consciousness, has a uniqueness. And when I say like the Midwestern spirits, I'm not saying that that they're slower mentally or anything, but their demeanor is different and more measured, and so they tend to communicate from the other side like they did when they were here living in the material world. And these are some of the concepts that I go into in depth in Evidence of Eternity, so that people can better understand how this works, because it's not texting or instant messaging. I mean, people are like,
It's
all right, I
not.
want to know this, I want to know this, I want to know this. And,
Oh Jesus!
you know,
Can you imagine when they start to text you?
Yeah, that it would be very distracting to live in a constant state. It'd be like your consciousness would be like the Dow Jones, except it's coming from the other side with this constant flow of information.
Then they would be going, you didn't answer my text.
Right. And spirits are an excitable bunch, but you also have to let them know, because people come to me all the time and they tell me, oh my gosh, spirits are around me and they won't leave me alone. Well, then tell them to leave you alone and to give you space. Be polite. You should always be polite and respectful, and spirit communication should be approached with some reverence.
So do we have somebody on the line, Kurt?
We do.
And okay. So caller, are you there?
Yes,
Hi, what's your name?
Teresa.
Hey, Teresa. Welcome to Living Unfiltered with Wendi Cooper. We're here with Mark Anthony, and I am going to hand you over, honey, to Mark. So just open your gates and let it flow. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Teresa. Immediately, all right, I'm Catholic, and I tend to get a lot of Catholic imagery. And as soon as I heard your voice, I started hearing Ave Maria, okay, which is really kind of a beautiful song, much better when a professional singer sings it. But what this indicates to me is somebody close to you, could be on this side or the other side, by the name of like Mary, Maria, could be a Margaret. Also, it could be a reference to the month of May and or veneration of Our Lady, the Mother of Jesus. Does this make any sense to you?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. A little bit in what way?
I've had aunts named Mary. I have two aunts named Mary that are no longer here.
Okay. All right, hold on.
That's a big
Did one of them sneeze a lot or have a nasal sensitivity or a difficulty like with their nose or breathing prior to passing?
I'm not sure on that, sir.
That's fine. Make a note because that's something you can verify after the reading, because there is a woman coming through, and I'm getting this. She's pointing to her nose, and I feel like I want to sneeze, which could indicate she had allergies or some type of difficulty breathing prior to passing, or maybe she had allergies throughout her life. And I also get that she was very sensitive to a lot of things. Like I'm also picking up on a numbness in her mouth. She could have been allergic to things like nuts. I'm getting like this whole nut allergy, and also that she had to be very particular with what she ate, particularly in her last her last days. I mean, by days, I mean like, maybe the last couple years even, because it seemed like there were so many foods which are causing all types of upset in her body. And I'm also getting this whole thing about an iron deficiency. Now, the iron deficiency could relate to the Aunt Mary, or this could be something that they're projecting to me about you. Does any of this make sense?
Yes.
Yes, in what way? Yes.
Yes. Yes, that my husband had iron deficiency, and my husband had food allergies, and he was very sick with those food allergies.
Okay. Is he with us on this side or the other side?
He's on the other side.
Aha, so now we know who's coming through, and guess who opened the bridge for him? And so what happens is, and even though I said one spirit per person, but this is an example of a facilitator where your Aunt Mary came through and opened the door for your husband. And it's so funny because he's coming through and he's beating his chest like Tarzan right now, and I hear him going oh like that, and it's hysterically funny because he wants you to know that all of those things that were bothering him before are completely gone. Question: did he have a potassium issue too, or did he like eating bananas? Because he's showing me bananas all over the place.
I'm trying not to get upset. I believe he died of too high of a potassium level.
There we go. Bananas are my indicator for potassium, and that could be either a deficiency or a surplus. Now, the reason he's coming through and acting like Tarzan, he's trying to be funny and cheer you up, because we can get very caught up on how our loved ones have died, but once they make that transition, they look at their death very differently than we do. He's looking at it as a portal that he went through, and now he's on this elevated level of consciousness. He also knows how much pain that you're in. Do you ever eat raw cookie dough, like Toll House cookie dough? He's talking about raw cookie dough.
I just had raw cookie dough today.
Bada bing, bada boom. Now, this is how he is letting you know.
Wait, I didn't hear that. All right,
I asked her if she
I
ever
heard
eats
that.
raw cookie dough. She said she ate some today.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so what he's doing is he's letting you know that he's around and he's with you. What about July, month of July? I know July's coming up like next week, but I'm tasting watermelon. Now, watermelon is another indicator for potassium, so that one we know, but it also is an indication for the month of July. Is there a significance to you, to your husband, to the month of July?
My birthday is July 7th, and we would have been married 38 years July 8th.
Oh,
Boom.
my God.
So not only is he around you, he's acknowledging your anniversary, and he wants you
honey,
to know
that is so
he wants
amazing.
you to know that he and you were as one, and that you were the great love of his life. And he said, in the middle of the night, when you call my name, I'm there, I hear you, and you have no one to blame.
Thank you.
God bless you. I'm so sorry for your loss.
I lost him 1 year ago tonight.
Oh, my God.
And here he is now to prove his love to you. And the beautiful thing is that not even death can kill love.
That is exactly right. Thank you.
Oh, my God. I don't know what to say. I hope. Oh, yes. God bless you. Oh, I feel so special right now. I'm telling you, I'm crying. Anyway, thank you.
You want me to take another one?
Yeah, I do, Kurt.
Oh, and
Oh my God, I'm so hello, hi. What's your name?
Hi. I'm so glad I got a hold of you.
What's your name, caller? So I can.
My name is Kim Ashley.
Kim?
I'm having a hard time hearing. Are you on a cell phone or something? Or
Yes,
cordless
I
phone?
am.
Yeah, the sound quality's tough. I mean, I'm going to do my best, but if possible, callers, try to call in on a landline, because everything I do as a medium involves frequency, and cell phones and cordless phones tend to have a higher incidence of radio frequency interference, and the connection's more tenuous, so it can cause challenges during the reading. And also there's a bit of sound distortion, so I will do my best.
Okay.
Okay, so now what was your name again? I'm sorry.
My name is Kim.
Okay. All right, Kim. So welcome to the show, and we'll get on with your reading.
Kim, there's a male energy coming through who is on your level, which means like a brother, sister, cousin, spouse, friend. So that's your level, your generation. And what I'm getting with him is this pounding sensation in my head. And it almost is, I'm getting like an impact to my head. Now, this could mean head trauma, stroke, aneurysm, but it also can be a traumatic passing or an abrupt passing. And what was happening prior to this is there was a disruption in his thought processes, not from a dementia, but this was either some type of, I don't want to call it so much a mental imbalance, but there was something definitely impinging upon his clarity of thought. And I'm also getting a lot of rage and anger issues going on. Does this make sense to you?
A little bit it does.
A little bit in what way?
Is my son, and he was younger, and he had a lot of anger issues.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me work with him a bit. Interesting. 3 weeks either side of today, I'm picking up from him on a significant birthday, anniversary, or event connected to you, connected to him. Does this make sense?
Well, it was about 5 weeks ago.
Okay.
That he passed.
5 weeks ago that he passed?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I realize it was 5 weeks ago, but I want you to focus just for a second. Either within 3 weeks ago or 3 weeks from now, could be significant birthday, anniversary, or event. Doesn't necessarily have to be with him. Could be with you or someone close to you.
Yes.
Yes.
My brother's birthday.
Your brother's birthday. Okay.
28.
I'm sorry, I cannot understand you.
Oh, I was just saying my birthday's the 28th of July, but my brother's is 1st.
Okay. All right. So your son's acknowledging your birthday and your brother's birthday. And interesting. He keeps showing me, I know we were talking before about frequency beacons. He keeps showing me a bag of coins. It's like collecting change. I know lots of folks collect change, but he keeps showing me in particular quarters. Do quarters make sense to you in any way?
No, not really.
That's okay, because he keeps talking about like a bag of coins, bag of quarters. So I want you to think about that. Interesting. And I'm also hearing the name George. Does George make sense to you in any way? Or a name like George? It could be like George Jeff. It's a J-sounding name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, in what way?
He's my husband.
Jeff. Who is your husband?
Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, in other words, his father. Okay. All right.
Yeah, his father. Yeah.
All
We're
right.
not together, but yeah.
Well, that's okay. All right. Interesting. He talks about his father sort of just looking away, like trying to avoid and deny that any of this ever happened. Does this make sense?
Makes very much sense.
Now, I'm tasting milk. Now, milk could mean love it, hate it, or lactose intolerance issue. That could be you, your son, your husband. Does this make any sense?
Well, Tyler likes milk.
I'm sorry, I can't understand you.
Tyler, my son, likes milk, but I'm not one. Now, my husband likes milk, too.
Okay, so that's a yes
I
and a yes.
don't.
All right. And you don't. So that's a yes, yes, yes. Because if something comes through and it's positive or negative with the spirit, which he liked milk, positive or negative with your husband, he liked milk, positive or negative with you, you do not like milk. You see, that's what I call a multiple meaning message, which is another topic that I cover in Evidence of Eternity. And what that is, when a spirit emits a message, encoded or encrypted on that can be several other levels of significance to that message, because they're not limited to auditory frequency, in other words, the way we speak. So let me get a message from your son for you.
Okay.
He says you keep going through a lot of guilt and remorse and trying to rationalize how this wasn't your fault, but then you go back into the guilt and remorse and the self-blame. And he says, Mom, I'm trying to get you to stop blaming yourself, because he knows that you know that his passing was absolutely not your fault, okay? Not your fault. And he wants you to understand and to appreciate that, okay?
Oh, my God. That made me feel good.
Oh.
No mother should suffer the loss of a child, and he gets that, and he knows that. He keeps showing me something that occurred right around the end of October, and the reason I'm getting that, I'm seeing a bat. So when like the creature of bat. So unless you got problems with bats, but normally images like that, it's not necessarily a negative thing. It's just an indicator for an event right around, let's say, between October 20th and November 5th, 6th, that time frame. Does this make sense to you?
No, it doesn't.
All right, I want you to think about that because it will make sense, okay?
Okay.
And there's something very, very significant about that. Let me see if I got a final message. Who's the Marine?
There's not a Marine in my family.
Could be another caller then. All right, I'm going to let you go.
Oh, that's
all right,
interesting.
God bless.
All right. Yeah, thank you for calling. Kurt, I'm sure we have another caller. This is cool. I'm like excited, First of all, you have to turn down the show if you're listening to it, caller, because we can hear that as background noise, okay?
I turned it down.
Yeah, and it creates feedback, which can interfere with the quality of the reading. Also, and in the previous call, that was a cell phone, and we were getting cutting in and out, and I could tell Wendy was having a hard time hearing the listener. The caller as well. So, if you have a landline, please call in, and if you're coughing into the phone, try not to do that.
Caller, what is your name, please? Your first name?
Hi, Wendy. I'm also Wendy with an I.
Oh, that's awesome.
We got double Wendy's
Wendy
tonight.
I love that. So,
Hi, Mark.
all right.
Sorry about the coughing in the phone.
No problem.
Well,
I know, but what it is, everything's frequency, and Wendy and I we're on radio all the time, and sometimes folks don't realize that. And it's funny because right here, if you can see me on the internet, we had a microphone right in our face. So everything that you do when you're on the radio is amplified 100 times. So.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I will try not to cough.
No problem. Take a sip of water.
Relax, and open yourself up, and Mark is gonna take it from here. Okay.
I know we all know John's and Johnny, but I keep hearing John, Johnny, John, Johnny, John, 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 Johnny, Johnny. Does this make any sense to you?
That's my son-in-law.
Okay. Now, is he on this side or the other side?
Oh, he's on this side.
Okay, so somebody's talking about John Johnny. Let's see who this is.
Uh-oh.
All right, there's a male energy coming through, and now what I'm getting with him, he feels like I don't want to say older, but he had a few years on him. I mean, he could have been like around 55, 56, maybe a bit older, and I tend to think he kind of looked younger than he was, and I'm getting a pain and pressure in my lower abdominal region, like my intestines being flared up. I'm also feeling pain in my liver. Okay, so there's issues going on in the liver, which is at the bottom of the rib cage on the right side. I'm getting pain and discomfort in my intestines and in the digestive tract and the colon. And I can tell this man was very heavily medicated prior to passing, which would make sense because if he wasn't, the pain would be excruciating and beyond being able to handle. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. All right, hold on. He says, I want to blow you a kiss, but you keep moving, and I can't hit you with the kiss because you keep moving. I mean, that sounds kind of strange, but it's kind of funny, too. So this guy's funny, and he just loves you up because I wish you could see what I'm seeing because all around you, I see like little lips and little red hearts, like pop, 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 and I'm hearing, I can't get no satisfaction. So I get this whole Mick Jagger thing going on, too. Does any of this make sense
like
to you?
my husband.
Okay.
Oh, God. It's awesome.
Did you guys used to get balloons and with helium in them and then talk funny?
Oh, we've done that.
Yeah, he's doing that right now. He goes, I love you, baby. I'll tell you what. And I'm hearing jumping jack flashes, gas, gas, gas. I mean, this guy is hysterically funny. And he said that you weren't just his wife, you were his partner in crime, okay, is the way he's putting it. Now, it doesn't imply that you guys are, Bonnie and Clyde are criminals. But he said that the two of you, your life, just like you embarked on an adventure together, and you always kept like one step ahead of each other, and that there was like it was a competition, but in a very healthy way, and it was a really good relationship and a lot of fun. And he knows that his death has felt like you've lost. Like your half of your body has been separated from you, because the two of you were so interconnected, and he said we always will be, and he also wants you to know that when it is your time, that he'll be there. Now, when I convey messages like that, that does not mean do anything to quicken your transition. No. Okay. Well, I have to say that. And he knows that you get that. Boy, the Rolling Stones thing, there was a whole lifestyle going on.
That's so awesome. This is awesome. I'm sorry.
Oh, these two, I mean, I could not be doing a reading for a spirit that loved
It's what it sounds
person.
like.
I mean, the two of you, if there is such a thing as soulmates, you guys are it. You guys are it.
And that's why I miss him so much.
Oh, but isn't it beautiful that he's here, and he's here, and through Mark you can have that connection.
And he keeps saying, elastic, it's plastic, elastic, it's plastic. Wait, hold on. What does that mean? Is there something about elastic or rubber bands or plastic? He keeps going, elastic and plastic, baby.
Well, he had a lot of health problems, and he used the elastic things with his legs, pulling it up and down, trying to get the mobility. So he used a lot of the elastic things, and I kind of shoot him across the room.
Oh, my God, how funny. That's incredible. I love this. I have to tell you, Mark, I love this. It's so beautiful.
I love this too, Mark. You're making my night. Our anniversary just passed.
Oh, well, God bless you. And
I don't know how to thank you, Mark. It's the first reading I've ever had, and it's blowing me away.
It has. I've been wanting to ask, and the past callers have hung up before I was able to ask. What are you feeling? I mean, doesn't it make you feel like? Does it complete something in a way?
A little bit of closure, and I'm shaking like a leaf. I've gotten chills up and down me. It's just it's amazing. I can't express. How appreciative I am to you, Mark, and Wendy with an I.
Well, what you have to realize is that grieving is a lifetime process, and spirit communication can be a very important therapeutic step in the journey through grief, because what interdimensional communication does is it lets us know that life truly is everlasting.
Yes.
And what I do is known as evidential interdimensional communication, because if I just said, now who do you want to talk to? Your husband? Yeah, he's around you and he loves you. That proves absolutely nothing. But when a spirit transmits to me verifiable facts and pieces of information, elastic plastic, okay, and then use zero. I mean, that's not something. I love it when the naysayers, oh, you're cold reading, really, elastic plastic? Yeah, let me pull that one out and see if that resonates. All right.
Well, nobody would know about his elastic bands. Where would that come from? It's not something we ever. We didn't go out in public and say, yeah, and he's got a rubber band on him.
I know. And so it's as big a surprise to me as it is anyone else. And I look at. What I do is I'm the custodian of this ability. God wants us to know that life is everlasting, and we can all be instruments of God's will, both on this side and on the other side. And God is sending forth the spirit of your husband to reach out across time and space and dimension to let you know that life is everlasting, and that he always did, always will, and will continue to love you.
I do have one question, if I can ask.
Absolutely.
Everybody always mentions how their husbands come to them or whoever in their dreams. Stuart's never come to me that way.
Have you read Evidence of Eternity?
Not yet.
Okay, that's your homework
assignment.
Do that.
It's a great book. It's great.
It will help you understand that, because what happens, particularly, you and your husband were so close, so you're concluding, and logically and understandably so, that he should come to you. And he very well may be, and well, actually he is, because he's going, dude, okay, so yes, he is. But what happens is that when you're in a profound state of grief and you're saying, I want this contact, I want this contact, I need this contact, it's the same as when I caution people about during reading saying, no, 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 because energetically you're setting up a negative energy barrier, and you do not intend to do that. And I understand that, and he understands that. But the I want is a lot of angst. So what you need to do is refocus your energy to, honey, I invite you into my energy. I'm asking you to come to my dreams, and I'm not putting any expectations on it. So then you're refocusing your energy from a negative thing to a receptive and positive thing. And then by educating yourself on spirit contact, through reading Evidence of Eternity, because that will explain the science and the physiology as to how all this happens, that's going to create a more receptive and conducive environment on your part. So you're not doing anything wrong intentionally, but by refocusing your energy and realize that on the other side, time is timeless. So they're not on our schedule. He'll come to you. He will.
Yeah,
come to
I
you.
have a. Hey, Wendy, I have it real quick before you go. You know, my mother passed away about, I don't know, it's been maybe 10 years now. And I was the same way. I was like, well, why doesn't my mom come to me in my dreams? Why doesn't she come in my dreams? Why doesn't she come in my dreams? And then it wasn't until maybe 2 years ago, I woke up in the middle of the night because I had this beautiful dream about my mother and how she was there. I could tell you right now, she was in like a circular booth at a restaurant. And I said, Mom, where have you been? I gave her a big hug. And I woke up from that dream, and it was my mother's birthday.
Oh, my God.
And I thought, but that's the only time in 10 years she has ever come to me in my dreams.
Seriously.
You know,
when you least expect it. I've smelled his cologne.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Frequency beacon. Hold on. Stop the presses. You smelled his cologne. You've had a contact experience.
And I hate to say it, but I race horses. I have harness horses. One night my horse was racing, and it was the night that I smelled his cologne. And sure enough, the horse won.
Well, there you go. Hello.
I've never been the same since after that. And I think he has a connection with one of my horses here very strongly.
Well, maybe he is the horse. And you're riding him, honey. No, sorry.
And it's weird. It's just little things I try and grasp onto. And I know some of them, it's like the pennies don't fall from heaven because there's no bank up there.
Well, we don't know that. But Mark knows, but we don't know that.
If you could send me down, a lot of money, it would be nice.
I may be the psychic lawyer, but if the other side has a legal system, then I might actually start believing in hell.
This is true. The force checks will start coming from the ceiling.
Oh, well, thank you, Wendy. Thank you so much. And by the way, everyone that's listening, calling in, watching, this entire show will be on YouTube. I'll post it on YouTube. You just have to type in, search for Wendi Cooper, Living Unfiltered, and you'll find it. And it will also be on iTunes. So you'll be able to hear it in its entirety. And if you've been someone that has called in and has had a reading, you'll be able to have that reading because you can download it and listen to it as many times as you want. So it will remind you of the things that Mark has said during your reading.
Wendy, that's a really good point, because a lot of times during a reading, people are a bit overwhelmed and they don't necessarily remember everything. And here we have an absolute record. I mean, this is live. We're not editing it. So you can listen to it. And for the folks that things did not immediately make sense, when you listen to it again, you may say, oh my gosh, now I know what that happens. I did a reading for this lady, her daughter, and her son. And the woman and her son were really, really very, very nice and polite. And the daughter was rolling her eyes and saying, this is BS, and oh, this is such a waste of my time. And she was being extremely rude and disrespectful to me. And her grandfather came through, and I kept talking about a frog. I said, he's talking about, no. Well, a week later, I got an email from her, and it started off with OMG. So I thought, oh, well, this might be interesting. And she said, I really need to apologize to you because the night after the reading, I was at my mom's house, and I was sleeping, and about 3 a.m, I felt something on my back. And I woke up, and it was this big frog.
Oh, God.
And I started screaming, and my brother ran in my room, my mother, and we couldn't figure out how it got in the house. We checked all the doors and windows. Everything was closed up. And my mother said, you were were mean to that psychic. You better call him and apologize so he doesn't send any more frogs at you. And I said, well, I don't inflict biblical plagues of frogs and locusts and upon people. And what was happening is your grandfather is able to see the future because, and I can explain that in greater detail, but I don't always know the full ramifications of the things which come through.
Right.
And it's all about spiritual situational awareness, another concept and evidence of eternity. And for the listeners that want their loved ones to come through or are looking for the signs, when you develop your spiritual situational awareness, you'll find that they are contacting us all the time. It's just we have to recognize the signs.
Yeah, and I completely believe in all of that stuff. Actually, we've shared our ailments, and so over dinner, I looked at Mark over dinner because we have so many things in common, and I said, "Am I a medium?" And I don't think that I am, but we have another caller. Okay, so Mark, one more call.
Sure.
One more. Tony's given us permission to go a little bit over.
Oh, thank you, Tony.
And then what we'll do is we'll take one more if you're up to it, because I know it's late for you. And then we'll talk about your tour, what you're doing while you're here, and we'll wrap the show up from there. But all right, Kurt, let it loose. Hey, caller, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Kathy Colbert.
Hi, Kathy. All right, so we are going to open up your energy to Mark, and you're going to sit back, relax, and go for a ride with Mark Anthony.
Okay.
Oh.
Did you ever have a dog about the size of a beagle?
Sort of.
Sort of is either yes or no. Because there's the energy of a dog coming through. Okay, and animals do communicate. Any being capable of the emotion of love is capable of spirit communication. So I'm getting that right away. And this is weird. I don't know too many people who like snakes, but the image of a snake is being presented. Is there something about a snake or something, an encounter with a snake, that makes any sense to you?
Last year, a snake ate some
her dog
baby.
That was a beagle.
No, I'm sorry. Go on. I know this is difficult for you. Please go on.
Hello?
Yes, we're listening.
Yes, rat snake ate some baby birds last year that I was watching grow up.
Okay, so there's a spirit around you who's aware of this, and what's interesting, that spirit facilitated your dog coming through, and I'm getting the feeling that from this energy that you have a tremendous connection and understanding and compassion for animals. And the person coming through is an older woman, and what I'm getting about her is a sense of bewilderment prior to passing. So she may have been slipping into a dementia because she was having a very difficult time focusing and concentrating prior to passing. And I'm seeing, when I'm looking at my hands, I'm seeing her hands, and I'm getting like red and swollen and a flaky itchiness throughout her skin and her body. Does this make sense to you?
She had Lewy body disease, and she had arthritis in her hands.
There we go. Okay. And you're having a difficult, this is her telling me that you're having a difficult time sleeping. Does this make sense?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. And the reason I get that is I'm hearing Brahms' lullaby where she's singing, go to sleep, and it's like when you were a little girl, I could see her brushing your hair and you drifting off. And she said how you always like to have your hair brushed. And I know lots of people do, but this is a very powerful and significant message that she's bringing through. And she also wants to thank you for the patience and compassion that you showed toward her, and that she is so appreciative of how you walk through life treating all beings the way you want to be treated. And this is truly your gift. This is just beautiful and amazing.
Wow.
And I'm getting something about the month of September because I'm seeing all the leaves falling to the ground, and I'm seeing elm trees in particular. Does this make sense to you?
She was diagnosed with cancer in September.
Okay, and that's the leaves falling to the ground. Okay, and that's where that's coming from. All right, so what she wants to do is try to take some of the pain and agony away from you, because she realizes that because you're so sensitive and compassionate, that her death is really eating at you, and she wants you to not let that happen.
Yeah.
Oh, and what's with the bubble gum?
Bubble gum?
Yeah, I'm seeing bazooka bubble gum. She's chewing up bubble gum and blowing bubbles. Does this make sense to you?
No, we're just bubble gum. We always had.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
We always had gum. It wasn't bubble gum, but she could pop it in her mouth.
Okay, all right. So let's go with a yes on that. I love it when I'm connecting with people like, no,
it wasn't the brand.
It wasn't bubble gum. It was gum, and she blew bubbles with it. So let's go with yes. And I'll leave that with you.
Gum.
Alrighty. So, do you have Mark? Are you getting anything else coming through?
No. The spirit receded.
Okay.
So
Okay,
God
good.
bless you, and I'm very sorry for your loss.
All right. You are all right? Are you there? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Wow, they just kind of disappear. It's like they don't want to talk to me. They want to talk to you. Hey, Rocky. Yes. Rocky's running around. I told Rocky, I said, Rocky, please take pictures. Please take pictures. Please take pictures. So that's what she's been doing. Rocky, we're going to Mark. This is actually. Let me just say, this has been really heartwarming and moving. I mean, the one gal that called in anniversary that was just, I couldn't speak. Rocky had tears. You had tears. And to think, you know what? I have a lot of gratitude because for you to share your abilities on my show and for us to use this amazing medium in order to actually maximize the connection, right? Wouldn't you say that if you're using all of this energy in this medium that we're really maximizing the connection?
When you have people that are open, positive, and respectful to the communication, you create a positive environment. I mean, there's people that come to me and they're like, come on, read me.
Oh, yeah, I saw some of those on YouTube.
Yeah, it's like when the Starship Enterprise raises its deflector shields, all right?
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Yeah.
You're creating a negative environment. And if you're going to approach spirit communication, be respectful, not just of the medium, but of the spirits. It's a good idea to check your expectations at the door and try to be as relaxed as possible, because there's three people, or at a minimum, involved in a connection. There's the spirit, there's the medium, and there's the person here. We all have our parts to play. The spirit is slowing his or her energetic vibration down so that I can raise my vibration to interface with that. But it is the client, the caller, the person, in an in-person reading who's actually bringing the spirits to the reading. So, and I know a lot of people are suffering with depression. They're taking medication for it. And I'm not saying go off your medication, but at least reduce your dosage, because if you are dulling your mental functioning and your brainwave frequency, you're raising deflector shields. So you need to approach a reading with clarity, with dignity, and with openness. A lot of the religious fanatics like to say, oh, this is not of God. This is absolutely of God. We are all the children of God.
How can people, we could go on forever about that one, because how can anyone in anywhere, anyhow, think that we can't connect, if there is a God, that we're not all connected to it, that we're not all connected to that energy, which is basically God. It's just a name. God is just a name, by the way, for the universal energy, right?
Well, I mean, we have to put a label, finite label on an infinite being and intelligence so that we can try to understand. But there's a lot of people who get very caught up. It's like the problem with our legal system. We get so caught up in the procedure that we lose the substance. It's like, oh, well, they didn't file this paper within 21 days, therefore they filed in 22, so that's null and void. And they're so worried about the procedure and the rules and the regulation of the dogma.
Yes.
Okay, about, well, our religion is superior, and, oh, well, there's only one way to God. It's through our way, our clerics, our dogma, and if you don't do that, you're inferior and you're wrong, and we have the right to kill you. And that certainly is nothing to do with God. God exists in spite of religion, not because of religion.
Right.
And religions are a good thing because as many religions as there are in the world is as many potential paths to God as there are in the world. But once it becomes about ego-driven agendas, anger, bigotry, hatred, and violence, that's not God. Those are created by men, for men, to keep men in power. And we've seen how religions subjugate women, treat them as property. I mean, people talk about, they sling quotes at me from Deuteronomy and Leviticus, yet those same books justified slavery, selling women into slavery, genocide, warfare. There's one passage that says, if your neighbor works on the Sabbath, he shall be put to death. So if my neighbor is a real estate agent and shows a house on Sunday, I'm supposed to shoot him in the head when he gets home from work? I mean, that certainly is
only
not
if you live in the
God.
Fairfax district of L.A.
But see, that has nothing to do with God. That's all about religion. I mean, religion and dogma. But religions can be a beautiful thing. And, not that I'm putting a plug in, but Pope Francis is showing us how religion can be a beautiful thing.
Yes, he is. Meanwhile, my Zohars from the Kabbalah Center are still on sale on Craigslist. So anyway, Rocky, you want to wrap this mother up?
Yeah,
All
sure.
right. So here's where Mark is. Here's Mark's tour of it in LA, right?
First of all, I'd like to say for those who are grieving at this time, Mark's first book, Never Letting Go, is the guide to help you through your grief. And it is written in such a beautiful way that whenever you want to pick it up, no matter what page you go to, it will resound within you. Evidence of Eternity touches upon different subjects: reincarnation. Is there a hell? My child committed suicide. Is this person in hell? Where did they go? So many different subjects. My pet died. Do they have a soul? There's so many beautiful chapters in Evidence of Eternity that will reach out to you and touch you. And so I recommend it not only for yourself, but pick up a couple of copies. And yes, I am his business manager and his producer. However, in lieu of sending flowers or giving just a condolence in a card.
Great point.
If someone, after all the people go and all the covered dishes go away, there's that night that you're there alone. And if you can reach out and have something to just kind of guide you through it and know those moments when you smell that cologne, smell that pipe tobacco, hear that song in your head, look at the clock and that time reminds you of your first address, your first date, something, then you know that there is a contact happening. And that's why I'm so passionate about working with Mark Anthony. And right now we are on a journey with a television show.
Yes.
And it is called, not only Mark being the psychic lawyer, but Mark is the psychic explorer. Mark has gone to so many different countries and has studied so many.
Like you said over dinner, he's the Anthony Bourdain of the psychic world,
and
basically.
Indiana
and I
Jones.
think that's freaking awesome.
Yes,
it's awesome.
And I don't want to go on and on, but yes,
no,
I do.
but that is actually awesome. I would watch that show a million times, and knowing your personality and how you can be so serious, funny, kind of like aloof and in a different world, and all of a sudden turn your head and go, but there's such a dynamic thing going on there of everything. Even in Evidence of Eternity, you talk about the Amazon. Where did you go? You went to some crazy ash trip, right?
I did. I was on and I don't want to give away what happens.
But, it's like giving away the score of the game before someone's seen the game.
Sorry, but you've traveled everywhere.
And I've been in search of the afterlife my entire life, and I understand and I know that the afterlife exists. And as the psychic explorer, that's what I do is go on a global search for how humanity views the afterlife. And earlier when I was talking about religion, I'm not crashing upon religion. I'm crashing upon people who hijack religion to justify anger, bigotry, hatred, or violence. And you know that you've created God in your own image when God hates the same people you do. So, and God isn't about hate. God is about love.
Yes.
And religions can be fantastic conduits. And one of the most fascinating places is Japan, because you can be a member of more than one religion in Japan. You can be a member of the Buddhist religion, the Shinto religion, and Christianity simultaneously. And I thought that was great. Plus, the Japanese are cool when they take a word from another language. Like now in Japan, they put zu on the end of it, zu. So now, Merry Christmasu is a actual Japanese word. And I remember being over there and like, you have a Christmas tree and a statue of Buddha under it. And I remember this monk telling me this Buddhist monk, and he was so serene. He was one of those incredible people that you meet. And he looked at me with the most inner calm shining through him. And he said, as many people as there are in the world is as many paths to God as there can be in the world. Who are we to put limitations upon God?
Yeah, he's always so eloquent, isn't he?
Yes.
So here's the challenge, everybody. Here's the challenge. We really, we want to see the Psychic Explorer.
Yes.
Yes.
Mark Anthony, the Psychic Explorer. We want to see that on television. Now, we're going to tell right here on my show, we're going to tell the universe that is going to happen.
It is.
And it will happen, and you will have a deal. What's today's date? Today's the 23rd of June.
23rd. I'm still dealing with jet lag.
Okay, it
from
doesn't
flying
matter.
to LA.
Today's the 23rd of June. We're going to give you until the July 23rd. You'll have a deal signed by July 23rd for that.
Oh, I'm for that.
That is what is going to happen, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Everybody listen, we're going to make that happen. So Universe, I just told you, July 23rd.
We'll all
Mark
manifest
Anthony,
that.
Great deal.
Yeah.
Great girl. Psychic Explorer.
And
I'm going to freaking watch it, and you better come and see me.
Oh, of
Yes,
course.
sir.
Oh, wait, let me tell you something.
Come in with a hacksaw or whatever. Wait, the door's opening. Whoa, who is it?
Wendy, every time I'm in LA, I want to be on your show. For all the listeners, if you're a regular of Wendy's, keep being so. And if you're new to the show tonight, let me tell you, this lady has got it going on, and she's a lot of fun and very spiritual. And because a lot of people think that spiritual folks need to go around talking like this all the time, and living in a muted environment. And the fact of the matter is, Wendy approaches life with an exuberance and a joy that only somebody who is intensely spiritual can have. Thank you for having me on the show.
You're welcome.
And to all the listeners, may God bless you. And if you'd like to find out more about me, please visit my website, evidenceofaternity.com. I wish we could get to more callers tonight, but since I'm in Hollywood, I will say this: I'll be back.
And Mystic Journey Bookstore, the 24th, 25th, 26th?
Yes. The
25th and 26th, which is Thursday and Friday of this week at 7 p.m. And Rocky, what's the phone number at Mystic Journey so folks can call in?
I think you can go online and buy tickets.
Yes, and you can also go to my Facebook page, Mark Anthony, the Psychic Lawyer. And
we've had that up for
that's been up, and there's also how to get tickets at Mystic Journey.
Yes, and that telephone number is 310-399-7070. That's 7070. 310-399-7070.
And with that, we're going to have to say goodnight, because we have, by the grace of Tony Sweet, the God at UBN Radio,
Tony.
he has given us an extra 30 minutes. So make sure to check this show out on iTunes, Living Unfiltered with Wendi Cooper. And I love everyone that listens. I even love Kurt, who's going to beam us out. So thank you for being here, Mark Anthony and Rocky Trainer.
Hey,
thank you.
Good
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Ciao.
Well, it's time to wrap up another great hour of Living Unfiltered here at ubnradio.com. We'd love to hear from you. So if you have a topic you'd like us to discuss, or you want to be a guest on our show, you can reach us at livingunfiltered@gmail.com. And since we're right here in the heart of Hollywood at Sunset Gower Studios, that's like saying, have your people call my people.